This is part 3 of the model shaper build. I'm bringing to size the part. The biggest sizes are sizes of this foot here. So now first I bring it to this size, and after I will bring it to width and height. 1500s to go. Yep. Not always a good idea to put the part this way in the vise, standing up, too much stick out, but with light cuts you can get away with it. I do this so I can use the automatic feed on the machine, otherwise I have to flip it 90 degrees and feed down by hand. Don't like that. My part has now the dimensions of this foot here of the main body. So now I'm ready to make this cutout here. This foot here is 4 mm thick. I already drawn some outlines on my part here, just to help me out, and there is this radiuses everywhere around. So I'm gonna have to make a tool that make these radiuses. In here, it's maybe hard to see, there is a bump where the gear system sits in to upper and lower this whole table system. I don't think I'm gonna make that. I will come up with something else, because I can't make that. It's on these machines is not possible, and hand finding in a blind hole like this one, in a blind corner, is very hard to do. First I said that making this bump is impossible with the machines I have, but in fact it is possible. I installed the swivel base at 5 degrees, which leaves me here now a little triangle. So now all I have to do is set 5 degrees the other side, and I will have the bump. It will be pointy, but after a touch with a file it might look like something. On a shaper you can make everything except pockets. I made a special tool to cut these rounds that you can see over here and in here and below. You can see, but there are. This is a 2 mm wide blade, so I made a radius of 1 mm. That's a bit of a challenge. Now let's see if it works. I just finished to clean up this face, turned out well with my brand new round tool. Now I have to plunge in straight down, but my tool is in an angle, so that's gonna be a little bit scary. With the cutting forces my tool is gonna be pushed that way, so it's gonna dig in this surface. Not good. So I'm gonna move a little bit out. I'm 1 mm out. Move a bit. Scratch a line. take a rough measurement, I have to go to 5.5, so that could work. That turned out well. Now I just have to clean up this face a bit and take care that this line is again in the middle. Right, I'm gonna set the angle back at 0 and make a straight line here in the bottom. I'm gonna shorten the tool. There's way too much tool stick out to do this side. For here it wasn't possible the other way, but here I can make a very short one. Will be much more rigid. Alright, these two slots are cut, finished. No touch anymore, well, clean up with a file. I made a dedicated tool. One side is round for these roundings, other side is a 90-degree, a bit like a parting tool for the lathe. And with this side I'm gonna cut this opening here. It's 2 mm deep and 12 mm wide. So, swivel base, very easy. This setup is not really video friendly, but there's nothing else I can do. It's the light, the glare here, and the vise. Right, let's cut. And this is where I have my first real visit of Bozo. The width of this shoulder is not the same as this one. I don't know what happened, but it's not centered. So I'm gonna have to cut 1 mm more on this shoulder here, which is gonna make the thing wider, and I hope it will not too much interfere with the rest of the build. We'll see. Well, Bozo happens. All right, that looks better. All the cutouts for the front part are finished, so no problem. Now it's time to start thinking about this cutout on the back side. I wasn't really happy with the other tool I had. The 1 mm radius is a bit too small, so now I made a new tool with a 2 mm radius. So we're gonna see what that does. I think that indeed with the 2 mm radius looks better. Now I'm gonna cut out this whole part of the machine, leaving of course a round corner over here, a round corner over here, and leaving this surface for the rail. Now below here you can't see it very well, but the rail is 2.5 mm deeper than this side. This all surface 1.5 deeper than this rail. Now it is gonna be a little bit of a challenge, because here you see the rail I'm talking about. So this surface now must go down 2.5 mm to have the top side of the rail, and then the rest of this surface that leaves 1.5 deeper than this rail. So I'm gonna cut a groove here at full depth, a groove here, and then I have to make a groove in this direction. But first let's talk stickers. I received stickers today from Ralfy Customs. Ralfy, you see, your sticker is already on the cheap door. Now, if you're not really interested in motorbikes and you check out Ralfy's channel, trust me, you will. If you want to see how a real artist looks like, check out Ralfy channel. He is one, and it's also so kind to send me this very tiny, cute little Ralfy sticker. Now the fun is, this Sunday Ralfy and I and some other European YouTubers will be in the ARW, it's this one now, in the ARW live discussion. Every Sunday Harold organizes a live discussion. It's always very interesting to watch, and to watch all these other great YouTubers. He does that every Sunday at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Wherever you are in the world, I'm sure you will figure out what time it is where you live. So check that out. Of course, link to Ralfy's channel and link to ARW in description. Alright, I had to switch to a smaller tool because this groove is of course way smaller than this one. I flipped the part around to the other side. So I have to cut in this direction. Yeah, this direction not really possible. So I designed a very special cutting tool to do this in my 2mm cheap blade. One little useless movement and the thing will break. But I'm gonna give it a try anyway. My little cutting tool seems to work fine. I don't want to push my luck any further with this very tiny cutting tool. I'm gonna stop here. This slot will be okay. To cut out this part here, all this, I'm gonna cut in that way with a round nose tool, with a form tool, which is much more rigid than this little tinky toy thing here. So I'm gonna flip the part around, make the same slot the other side, and after I will cut out this part. Here now we can see a nice part of the challenge. While cutting this surface, I have to be careful not to touch this rim, or this rim. This small cut surface in the other direction has to be blended in with this one. And of course this one also with the slot I cut here, and this slot can hardly see it, but this one. And before starting this project there was a bit calculating work to put the screws at the right depth. So this one looks okay, these two look okay, this is just not deep enough. I hope I'm not gonna cut off this head to do the final cut. We'll see. Well, well, I think it worked. This spot is a little bit too deep, but with a bit of sandpaper, that will look good. I think the machining on this part came out really well. Of course, I have to round all these corners. This is all hand filing and belt sander work. I'm not gonna bother you with it. I don't think it's interesting enough to put it on video. So this one looks okay. We'll finish it for the next video, and next time I'm gonna build